How do I breathe? Yeah. How do I breathe?
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we're here with Janina, my beautiful model and friend.
Hi.
Hi. Today I created this bronzy, summery, glowy look that in my opinion is super achievable for most people out there. So if you like this look and if you want to learn how to get this look, then please keep on watching. Hi guys.
Hi.
So here we are with obviously no makeup on, still beautiful. How I like to start is by starting with the eye. Some people like to start with the skin. It's all about preference. Whatever you prefer, you do. However, I like to start with the eye. So let's get a close-up and zoom in so we can get started. Okay, so first we're gonna go in with some eyeshadow primer, just to prime her eyes before we start with anything. I typically like to just use my hand for this. My finger, I'm sorry, it's just easier. Make sure you blend it out on the side over here gradually so you're not going to get that line. Then we're going to set it with some translucent powder, bush eyes, just to lock it in so we have a clean canvas to work on. There you go.
Okay.
For my favorite part, we're going to go in and work with the Jaclyn Hill palette.
Yay.
Yes! All right, look at this beauty right here.
Show me. Wow.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So I'm gonna go in on a Sigma brush. This is the, I believe, E40. It's a blending brush. It's great for the crease. So we're gonna start with just a neutral color. So I wanna start and go in with this one right here, a mix of these two. Dab, 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 just to go in the crease. Close your lid. And this just gives you like a really nice definition. You want to go in with a pretty neutral one to start out with. This is the, again, Sigma, and this is the E38. We want to go that in and keep the neck shadow a little bit lower than this one. So we're going to go in with a deeper color, sorry, which is this one right here, just to deepen up the crease. Make sure to either tap or blow on your brushes so it doesn't give so much pigment to begin with. It's easier to go in and work with less and then just build it up if you want more color. Also, so you don't have like a bunch of fallout all over your face, which is again why I like to start with the eyes, because when you start with the face, I tend to touch my face a lot, so it's gonna take off your foundation. This way, your foundation stays nice and fresh because you go in with that at the end. We're gonna grab one of these shimmery colors right here. I'm thinking I want to go in with like a nice coppery look. So we're going to go in with this color right here. And what I like to do when I'm working with like a shimmer color, I like to wet my brush just because it gives like, it makes the color like really pop. So let me just go grab some setting spray and I'll be right back. I'm going to go in with the MAC Fix Plus and just spray my blush as such. Go back into that color right there. And go in on the crease, push eyes. I switch my brush again. It's a lot of brushes, I know. You don't have to do all of these steps, whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm gonna go in with a E25. This is a blending brush again, just to deepen up the outer corners. And we're gonna go in with this darker color right here. Just a little bit. Again, with darker colors, don't go too heavy because it's easier to build it up versus going in too heavy and then having to blend all of that out. Okay, so now we're gonna go in, and I already did this eyebrow. We're gonna go in and work on this one. We are using the Anastasia Brow Wiz, which is my absolute favorite. This is in the color Ebony, which is the darkest one. And what I typically like to do is first go in and start brushing up her hairs upward, and then we're gonna create that line underneath to give you a little definition and start creating that brow. And don't forget, it can be very intimidating. It's very, very hard to get two eyebrows to look alike, so don't stress it too much. Get them as, you know, they're not supposed to be identical. We like them to be, but reality is that it's not. So don't stress it too much in the beginning when you're not used to this. So in this next step, what I would typically do is if I do wear falsies like I'm wearing right now, or that I like to do when I go out, I like to create a black liner to kind of like hide the lash band. But because I'm not gonna do falsies on her because she's wearing extensions, we're gonna just focus on the shadow. So therefore I don't wanna like do an eyeliner on her right now because I really wanna get a good look at those beautiful eyeshadows that we just applied. So we're just gonna go in and use a little bit of mascara because like I said, she is wearing extensions, and then we're moving on to the face. Okay guys, so now that we're somewhat done with the eyes, we're gonna start working on her skin. I want to go in with the Too Faced Hangover Primer, which is my favorite one. Especially it's great for people with dry skin like I have. So it's a really hydrating primer. So you want to use the primer before you start with the foundation. It's going to really make the foundation grab onto that primer and last longer. And also really hydrate your skin, which is what I need. My absolute favorite, my Makeup Forever HD Ultra HD Foundation. This is in the shade Y325. We're gonna go wet our Beauty Blender. This is actually by Morphe, which I love, I think a little bit more than the Beauty Blender actually. We're gonna go in and wet this, and then we're gonna apply the foundation. So with this foundation, I like to just use my hand, like to just do 2 pumps. 2-3 pumps depending on, of course now we're running a little low, so there you go. All right, and I just like to dab it all over the face as such. You know, she has really nice skin, so we really don't need to go too heavy, and you can always build it up. That's what I love especially about this foundation, that it's light to medium coverage. So if you want a fuller coverage, you can do another layer, and still when you're using a beauty blender, because you use it while it's damp, it absorbs a lot of the product, which of course can be a little expensive, but also, you know, it gives it that much more of a natural finish. Make sure you like go all the way down towards the neck a little bit. You don't want to have that harsh line because that's not cute. Of course, when it comes to the eyebrows, you really want to go around them, not to smudge all the hard work that we just did. Work it all the way up into your hairline, so again we don't get that line around. Okay, and for the next step, we're going to go in and use concealer. For her, she tends to have a little bit of a darker under eye, so we're going to go in with a little lighter concealer, not heavy, just to cover it, because that's I think the flaw a lot of people do is that they go in with too much concealer, which just makes it look either super bright or super cakey, because it's going to travel and it's going to find a way to set, so you're going to just end up with those lines. So we just want to cover a little bit under the eyes and like highlight some areas of her face. And like I said, we're going to go in with this Tarte, the Shape Tape, and this is in the color Light Neutral.
I'm gonna allow this thing.
This is very thick, so I really recommend going in with a light hand. Again, a little goes a long way, trust me. And then again, we want to go in with our damp beauty blender and just kind of blend all of that out and make it look nice and highlighted. And it's a good idea to just kind of like dab, and then you can even like drag it up to her cheekbone to create that little bit of a lifted look. But like I said, we really did not use a lot of concealer, and it's already covered up. That's all you need. If your face looks like that, that's when you're doing it right, okay? You gotta look ugly before you look pretty. And now we're gonna go back into that Cover FX translucent setting powder, look up, and we're just gonna set that. It's very important that any cream product that you use, you really wanna set it so it doesn't like move and you're not gonna get all those creases throughout the day. So this is just gonna really lock it in and hold it in place. If you like to bake, for those of you who like to bake, this is where you go in and apply a heavy amount of powder and let it sit, kind of like we did earlier on in the video, and let it sit for a little bit, and then you dust it off. She doesn't really need it because her skin is so flawless that we really don't need to do that, because sometimes with a lot of powder it can make the skin look very powdery, so we're gonna definitely not do that on her. So now that we are done working on the under eye, we're gonna go back in and finish off on the eyes, and we're just gonna kind of like, whoa, sorry. We're just gonna go in again and just do a little combination of the colors that we used on the top and just go underneath the eyes and smudge that out just to give like to finish off the look, so we don't leave the under eye all bare. So we want to go in not too dark. We want to use that color right there and just tap into that. We did, and we're just gonna drag that under the eye as such. And we just gonna dip into that coppery tone just to get a little bit of glitter in the center part to make it pop. And then we're gonna go in with some mascara to hit those bottom lashes and finish off the eyes. Up. And now for the next step, I just want to go in and set the rest of her face just a little bit, just so that the foundation is not tacky. So we're going to go in with the Dior. This is the Nude Air. And we're just going to go in, dab that again. This is with a Morphe brush. This is the E1. And we just want to dab the areas, especially the areas that we highlighted. For the next step now, we're gonna go in, typically now, I would either go in and contour her cheeks, but I feel like for this look, it's much more glowy and summery, that I don't want it to be too harsh. So I wanna just focus on the eyes. So we're not gonna contour her cheeks. We will, however, bronze them up. And I might do a little contouring on her nose. A contour versus a bronzer is a cooler shade that kind of creates that shadow. If you wanna do this step, you wanna just lay in a cool toned, contour right here to kind of like really like sharpen those cheekbones right there. But in this we're gonna skip the we're gonna skip the contour and go straight into the bronzer, which is gonna create a little bit of the same effect, just a little softer. And with this, you want to go in obviously on the cheeks, warm up that face. You want to drag it all the way in the hairline, basically all around the face to frame the face, to give a little bit of dimension so everything is not like one color. So next up is blush. We're gonna go in with the Tarte. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is called Party. And this is just such a great like neutral color that really works well with almost every skin tone, and it's very, very natural. Again, dab it off and just kind of like give me those cheeks. This next thing is a step that I cannot live without, no matter how natural I do my makeup. Every time that I like to use a bronzer or contour, anything like that, I like to really clean it up. So we will do a little bit of baking right here to clean up and create a sharper line so you can like really see those cheekbones. So for this step, I like to switch up the powders. I like to go in with my RCMA translucent, this is a no color powder, which is very similar to the Cover FX one. This is just a little whiter. I like to use a lot, so I put that in the top right here. And then I'm gonna go in and dip my moist, wet again. Don't worry about that. You dip in, you really go heavy, and you create this line right here. Just to really clean that up. Again, you don't have to do this, but I need to do this. Like also sometimes with bronzer, it can get a little muddy looking if it's all over the place. So this is just gonna go in and clean all of that up. I also, this is another thing of mine, I like to go in and bake because she also has like smile lines like I do, like most people do, because we love to laugh, right? So we want to go in and also set right there. I know this is a very attractive look, but trust me, it makes a difference. So we let that sit for a little bit to bake and take effect. And then we're gonna move on and brighten up and give her that nice summer glow that we all want. And now to my favorite part, number one, because I just love a nice glow, and number two, because this means that we're almost done. So yes, first, the highlighting part, I wanna just highlight the top of her brow bone, just to kind of lift up her eyebrow a little bit. You just want to go in lightly, and I'm sorry, I'll show you the product that we are using in just 1 second. This is like one of my favorites. This is the MAC Soft and Gentle. Love this highlighter. And this just complements her eye look so beautifully. In the tear duct, just to make her eyes up. And then to the, I'm gonna go in and you just want to pop that on the high parts of your cheek. And then I like to drag it up and kind of create that C shape. Because you want the highlight exactly where like the sun usually hits you. And here you can go as heavy or as natural as you like. I personally like a lot of glow. Since we didn't do any contouring on her face, I do want to go in and just, not even contour her nose, just create a little bit of shadow. It's such an easy way to start if you're not really comfortable contouring yet, just to give a little bit. I'm going to go in right here with the Kevin Aucoin. This is in the shade medium. This is a really, really cool toned contour powder, and you can just dab that on the bottom of the nose just to create a little bit of shadow. Like that. And again, I really like this. Is just, again, all about preference. This is something I like to do. I like to give a little highlight on the nose as well. Now her powder has been setting for a little bit, so we're gonna go ahead and dust that off. I'm using a Sigma F30, but you can go ahead and use really any brush for this, just something that can dust it off. You want to go ahead and do it downward so you don't blend it up into your contour, bronzer, and all that stuff that you just created. You want to just clean that up, so make sure you go downward. And now let's move on to lips. This is in the color Root Beer Float, and this is a butter lipstick. Thank you guys so much for watching, and here is the finishing look.